Welcome to Recaply X, your movie recap in a flash. We bring the drama, the action, and the twists. In minutes, our movie today begins with a man named Smoker, who we see swimming in the water and living his life to the fullest. At one point, he stops as if something important catches his attention. It turns out to be a massive iceberg that has appeared in the water. Driven by curiosity, he decides to investigate. At the same time, we see a police helicopter heading toward the same iceberg. However, Smoker reaches it first. Upon arrival, he is shocked to discover that the iceberg is filled with frozen human corpses. What really grabs his attention is a beautiful young woman also frozen inside. As Smoker approaches the iceberg, it suddenly begins to melt, causing the woman to fall into the water. He quickly dives in after her to save her, pulling her to the shore. Smoker tries to revive her, and when she regains consciousness, instead of thanking him for saving her life, she begins to scream and accuse him of inappropriate behavior. Her shouts attract the attention of a couple sitting nearby, and she insists that Smoker tried to harass her. Smoker attempts to calm her down and explain to the couple that he only saved her from the water and did nothing else. Meanwhile, the government retrieves the frozen corpses from the iceberg and transports them to Sao Paulo. Smoker's friend, Almo, along with Smoker's fiancée, arrive at the shore, searching for him after realizing he had gone into the sea and disappeared. Back at the shore, Smoker continues to explain to the people that he did not harm the woman, but she remains adamant. Suddenly, the woman breaks down and begins to recall that her entire family drowned in a shipwreck near the coast of Punta Gorda. The couple takes the woman to their home to comfort her. The wife calms her down, and the woman introduces herself as Maruka. Meanwhile, in the laboratory where the frozen bodies were taken, scientists attempt to gradually revive them. Back at the couple's home, the man in the house starts to recognize him and knows that Smoker is not just an athlete and a strong swimmer. No, he is also a successful businessman, except that he is also an environmental activist. At the same time, we see Smoker's friend and workers looking for him in the middle of the sea. We go back to Smoker, and we see that he is sitting with the people and trying to tell them the story of how he found this girl frozen. Later, Maruka, distraught, wanders off, calling for her family until she encounters a police car. Overwhelmed, she faints. Smoker, who had followed her, rushes to her side. The police and paramedics take her to the hospital. Meanwhile, Smoker's friend continues searching for him and, by chance, meets a man who recounts what happened. The man informs him that Smoker is now at the hospital with the woman he rescued. At the hospital, Smoker is deeply concerned about Maruka. He stays by her side all night, admiring her beauty. The scene shifts to the laboratory, where scientists discuss their discovery that the frozen people wore handmade clothing and had been frozen since the previous century. Back at the hospital, Maruka regains consciousness. Smoker rushes to her side, reminding her that he was the one who saved her from the water. When Maruka becomes agitated, Smoker tries to calm her down, explaining that the doctors put her in a coma to ensure her safety. Maruka, unfamiliar with the concept of a coma, feels insulted and misunderstands his intentions. Maruka notices her hospital gown, which appears strange to her, as she has never seen anything like it. She becomes anxious and demands to be taken to her parents. A black doctor enters the room, and due to the racism of her time, Maruka treats him poorly, asking him to find her parents. The doctor and Smoker try to calm her down, and a psychologist enters to assist. Maruka eventually calms down. In the lab, we see Don wake up and try to get out of the oxygen field he is in, and the doctor who is present at that time goes to him quickly, but Don attacks him. The doctor tries to calm him down, but Don does not understand and keeps hitting him and asking him where his daughter went. It turns out that Don is Maruka's father. We return again to Maruka in the hospital. The freezing feature has come to her, and she examines her. The doctor allows Maruka to hear her heartbeat, and Maruka is very surprised by everything that is happening around her. Maruka continues talking to them and telling them about her life and herself, and she tells them that the doctor was always the one who came to their house. The doctors notice that Maruca speaks Portuguese very well, and she also speaks French, and she talks to them about her life, and the doctors are very surprised by her words, and she tells them that she remembers how she drowned, and that the ship hit a large iceberg, and after that the doctors ask her to rest and not think about anything, but Maruca tells them that she is very relaxed and that she feels like she has slept for more than 100 years, and after that we see the doctor entering with Soka, and Maruca starts dealing with the doctor in the same way, and asks him to bring her a car so she can walk, but the doctor does not help her, so Maruca apologizes and tells him that it is clear that you are one of the people who have been liberated, meaning Maruca continues to talk to those around her and tells them that she is basically against any form of slavery. We go to Don again, who is Maruca's father, who is the one who wears clothes and walks, but on his way, he sees all his family frozen, and he keeps looking for his daughter among them, but does not find her. And when he does not find her, he gets tired and falls to the ground, and he faints all the time, and the doctors come to him quickly, and he catches up, and we go back again to Maruca, and Smoker is like this, and he tries to talk to her, but she keeps refusing, and she thinks that he is not suitable for her to talk to at all. And then we see Don being transferred to the hospital, and he faints after a while, without Maruca finally meeting that she is talking to Smoker, and she keeps talking about her life and remembering her life, and remembering her loyal maid, and she keeps telling Smoker about their laws and their life, and she thinks that Smoker is from the poor class, so she gives him a piece of land, their land as a reward for him because he saved her life, and she tells him that he will definitely be happy with this land because she remembers him from the very poor class, and their conversation is interrupted by the psychologist who enters and starts asking her, "What year are we in?" And Maruca answers her with all confidence and says to her, "It's 1886, but the psychologist tells her she might not remember the exact date due to her loss of consciousness. Smoker is then shown speaking on the phone with a lawyer, asking for information about Don Macho's family. Later, Smoker confronts the doctors, adamantly refusing to hand over the girl for experiments. He tells them she is a living person and such treatment is unacceptable. Despite the doctors confirming that the girl is healthy, neither insane nor dying, Smoker stands firm in his stance. This leads to a heated argument until the scene shifts. We see Maruca wearing her dress and leaving her room, but before she departs, she encounters Smoker as she exits the elevator. She is surprised and confused by the elevator. Smoker speaks to her, agreeing to return her to her family, but first, he tells her he will show her pictures of them. As soon as Maruca sees the phone, she grabs it from his hand, bewildered by the strange object. Smoker then begins explaining the story of freezing and how they are now in a frozen state. Afterward, Smoker takes Maruca to his home, but not without difficulty. He blindfolds her and puts her in the car. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, Don regains consciousness, quickly dresses, and leaves to search for his daughter. He is accompanied by a neighbor who happens to have dark skin. Don, however, treats him the same way he treats anyone with dark skin, assuming they are of a lower class and enslaved. The man is puzzled by Don's behavior, but continues to help him. Throughout their journey, Don is visibly confused by everything he sees in the hospital. Back at Smoker's house, he removes the blindfold from Maruca's eyes. She looks around, astonished by the house. Smoker suggests she take a shower to refresh herself, but Maruca is unfamiliar with such facilities. To assist her, Smoker calls his mother, Carmen, to come and help. At the same time, we see Don wandering the streets like a madman, convinced he has died and gone to hell. He is in a place with no horses, surrounded by moving cars that could hit and kill him at any moment. The man and his daughter try to calm Don down and convince him he is not dead. Eventually, Don believes them and follows them. Back at Smoker's house, Carmen arrives and impresses Maruca with her appearance and demeanor. Maruca cannot believe that this elegant woman is Smoker's mother. She is fascinated by Carmen's attire, as it is something she has never seen before. Meanwhile, Don is in the car, staring in amazement at everything around him, the strange lights, the tall buildings, the steam. He is bewildered by it all. Back at Smoker's house, Carmen assists Maruka and takes her to the bathroom. As they talk, Carmen shares that she raised Smoker on her own because his father abandoned them long ago. This concept is foreign to Maruka, who explains that in her time, abandoned infants were left at the church's doorstep. Carmen helps Maruka take a shower, and Maruka is thrilled by the hot water. Afterward, she goes to sleep, and Carmen checks on her son. The scene shifts to Don, who arrives at the man's apartment. He is amazed by everything in the apartment, trying out the faucet, mirror and floor, marveling at it all. The man's daughter tells her father she thinks Don is crazy and asks why he is helping him. Her father replies that he cannot leave the man alone in his misery. Back at Smoker's house, Carmen is sitting with her son, who tells her the story of the girl and how he found her. Carmen laughs, not believing a word of it. The scene then shifts to Maruka's father, who has also fallen asleep at the man's house. Meanwhile, Smoker continues trying to convince his mother of the story he told her. He insists he will not hand over the girl to the lab, refusing to let her be treated as a test subject for scientists. And after that, Smoker goes to sleep, but he is unable to sleep at all. So he walks quietly and goes to the room where Maruka is sleeping and stays next to her all night until he falls asleep. But he wakes up the next day, she splashed water on his face, and Maruka kept arguing with him about how he slept next to her all night until Carmen came out screaming and tried to calm Maruka down. Then Carmen went down and Maruka came down after her, who was very upset and screaming. But as soon as she saw the coffee machine working, she forget her anger. Carmen told her that until now, she didn't know how to use the machine well because she couldn't translate the words written on it. So she asked her to read to her, meaning the writing, and very easily she was able to translate all the words for her and talk to her like that and told her that she knows more than one language. At the same time, their conversation was interrupted by Smoker's fiancé when she entered, and she was very upset about this girl's presence with Smoker. Carmen assures her that Maruka was not alone with Smoker in the house, but she is very aggressive. A fight almost breaks out between them, but Smoker intervenes, calming everyone down. He tells his fiancée that nothing happened to warrant such problems, and reminds her of his promise to return Maruka to her family. But first, he wants to show her something. He opens the window, and Maruka is amazed by the view. Smoker approaches her, and finally confesses that they are in the year 2023. She is shocked, quickly calculating and realizing she has been frozen for 100 years. At this time, before she can finish her words, Smoker's fiancé gets upset with them and throws her ring in his face and walks away. But Smoker doesn't care and turns on the TV in front of Maruka, who is shocked again when she sees him and keeps getting closer to him, very surprised. At the same time, we see Ayu going out with Don to look for his family. We go back to the apartment again, Smoker, and we see Maruka, and she is obviously happy with this strange technology, and she keeps talking to them. And then Smoker keeps telling her that Brazil has become a republic and the slavery system has been abolished, so she loves it, even though she didn't like this system at all. She gets really happy because she never liked that system in the first place. Then she looks out the window and sees a helicopter. At the same time, Don also sees the helicopter. We see the news playing on TV in front of Maruka. The news talks about her and says they found the frozen girl. Then Samuka takes her in the car, but this time without blindfolding her. Maruka spends the whole ride looking at the streets, feeling happy and amazed. Maruka arrives with Samuka and Carmen at the lab where her family is, and finally, she sees them all. She starts calling each one of them by name, but she doesn't find her father among them. She gets upset again and feels deeply affected because she had been searching for him all along. After that, we see Don walking in the street, feeling very annoyed because of the cars and motorcycles whose drivers he thinks are completely crazy. He goes to some place to have a drink, and by chance, Don looks at the newspaper and sees the date. He asks his friend about the date, and his friend confirms it is indeed today's date. Don is shocked and doesn't believe it. He runs out like a madman, talking to people in the street and asking them about the date. The people confirm the same date, and there's an officer who overhears him and suspects he might be drunk. A fight starts between Don and the officer. Meanwhile, we see Maruka leaving with Samuka to search for her father. On the other hand, the fight between Don and the officer continues until, by coincidence, Maruka sees them. She runs to her father and hugs him after this long search journey. The movie ends. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more awesome content. Thanks for watching, and I'll